say now I'm in depression, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. Where do I find a
Correct.
place I can hold? Right? And then what age was it? My son. I think the thing
Yeah,
that.
like, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So thing. Hello, go lah. Anyway, just chit chat and all.
Yes.
That's all.
Chit-chat lah.
Yeah. Okay.
You want not, man? Okay, 10 seconds delay. Let me search for it now.
The video is live now already. Isn't it? 呢個咯，
又唔係喎。
呢個你撳呢個，你撳咯。I'm lost. I don't know what to do. Should ask him to cut out his
Yeah.
I'm lost. I don't know what to do.
Wait, I tell him.
Yeah, you cut. Should ask him to cut out his I'm lost. I don't know what to do.
Okay, we need to put the volume down. Yeah, we live. Die liao, can we go off? Start again. Can we start and then come in again? Because by now we recorded conversation.
Okay, you
Then
need
we
to put
keep
the
quiet.
volume down because if not, hey,
I think I better turn off it.
turn off, hey.
Yes, it should
so
be
可以
turned
唔
off.
同嘅
Correct.
clash 到。Then they
How to use the button? This was sound or not? Okay, turn off sound or not?
button.
死啦，冇 audio 啊，setting。Hello? Oh, okay, can. Oh, okay, can. All right. 唔得開始咗。
咩嘅？
Say live 咗嘅。He will edit later. So we will continue now.
Okay.
我哋淨係講呢度，嚟呢度。
希望
我飲嘅時候一啲一啲。Okay. Alright. 我哋嘅 phone 要 silent 啊。Silent our phone. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Malaysian Positive Psychology Association's week of a dose of positivity. And my name is June. I'm one of the EXCO member of MPPA, and we are very happy this morning to have Miss Jennifer Ong, the founder of HAPA, with us today. And Jennifer, how are you feeling?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I think it's really nice to be able, to be in a positive environment and always talking about things that can lift up the spirit. Yeah, and that's something that I'm really passionate about.
Well, it's really glad. I'm really glad, and as well as our team, to have you here today to actually share a lot about the topic today, which is looking in the eyes of positivity. All right, and Jennifer Ong is someone in the industry that, especially in the hospitality and F&B industry, she is no stranger to many of you out there who are in that industry, and she has almost, if I'm not mistaken, 20 over years, 26.
Yeah, 26 years in the hospitality business.
All right. And there's a lot about Jennifer that we will discover today, and to learn a lot through her journey and her experiences. She's actually a very wonderful lady, as I've known her just about a year plus. I think about a year plus.
Year plus, isn't it? Yeah, that's right.
And basically, To know a little bit about Jennifer, I feel that there's something very interesting, which I can't really remember, and it's all about numbers, you know. And I would like to introduce her in this manner this morning, so that we are able to understand the journey that she's been through, and the journey that she has shared with me, which is really touching. And you know, especially in times like that, and also the topic today is so. It resonates a lot with the topic today. So stay tuned with what I'm going to read. No, it's a lot of numbers, but we will go through and get to know her a lot better through numbers. Okay. So Jennifer left home at 18. Started her business at 22.
That's right.
Wow, that's like 18, 19, 20, 21, 25 years later, she started her very first business. All right, and got married at 23. That's a
Yes.
lot, man. That's a lot from business, and then another big milestone, which is getting married. Those are very positive things that's happening in your life. Yeah. And had her first baby at 24.
Yeah,
wow.
That's right.
And became a widow at 28. All right, and I went through crisis at 29 when her company actually almost went bankrupt.
Yeah, that's right.
So
the year after, well, a couple of months after.
A couple of months after.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm going to get back there later.
Okay.
I just want to go through a quick rundown with everyone this morning to introduce you in just numbers.
Okay.
All right. And the positive part is after going through a double jeopardy, interestingly, becoming a widow at 28 and went through crisis. Her business actually went through a crisis at 29. She rebuilt her business at 30. That's a very good rebound. A year after.
Yeah, that's right.
And I would really love to hear a lot more later about how you actually overcame this journey. Yeah. She remarried at 32. Had her second child at 34, had her third child at 37, divorced at 38. She went through a second marriage, right? And also being a single mom for twice in her journey.
That's right.
So, and the positive part in this is after 7 years, I see that at 45, you found your new passion.
That's
in
right.
mindset training.
That's right.
That's what I've been seeing a lot about you in the social media, which I'm really inspired about.
All right, thank you.
And almost lost her eldest son to suicide at 46. And managed to get him home. That's the beautiful part.
Yes.
All right. And had her first massive burnout at 47. And went into depression. That was last year. And now today at a very nice, in Chinese we call it 谁法 48. In Chinese it's 谁法 right? So now it means keep prospering. Right. So this is the year of keep prospering. I mean, amidst of this year is a COVID, we're hit badly.
That's right.
Yeah, but being 48, it resonates to be a very prosperous year.
That's right. Yeah.
So, well, this is the first time that we get to hear an introduction.
So many things happening.
And her journal of life is all recorded in numbers. So Jennifer, it's very interesting how you journal your life, through numbers. Right. Just wondering, you keep a journal, numbers, your journal through numbers. There's a lot of positive things that has happened, milestones in life, right. And lots of memories. And also there's also certain journey in life in the years, right, where I've noticed there's at least 3 to 4 crises that you have been
the last 20
years. So would like to hear a little bit more about you sharing how you actually what happened during the double jeopardy year, where you actually became a widow at 28. How did you felt when you actually went through that journey?
So basically I looked at, I was going to do a talk one day in Singapore. That was the first time that I went public in terms of, sharing my life journey. And it was in a women's event. So a good friend said, Jen, could you come and do sharing in Singapore? I'm like, oh, no, because, we always tend to keep a lot of we call them the negative experience. We tend to keep them in the closet because we feel that it's too shameful, or it's not a nice thing to share. People call washing dirty linens in public. But the thing is, if we can look at our lives in terms of the learnings and use that experience as learning and do sharing about what we've learned from those experiences, so that other people can actually say, hey, I'm in the same situation. How do I get out of it? And there is hope, right? So we give people hope and stuff. So we said, okay, let's go. When I went for the talk, I said, how am I going to talk about? How am I going to share what my life journey is? And while I was doing the deck with my team, and they said, oh, Jen, you have got so many different milestones in your life. Why don't you just tag them by numbers in terms of your age? And I said, oh, that's a pretty cool thing, right? So that's how we came up with all these numbers. And as I reflect the last 30 years since 18, I can see that there's so many ups and downs that I've gone. Like you said, there's a double crisis at certain age, and then I bounced back up, and then it came back down again. And I look at it as a total evolution of my life. We have to evolve, right?
Yes,
we have to
yes.
evolve. So coming back to the age of 28 was a very, very hard year. And that's like, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So my son was 4 years old at that time. And we had a celebration of a magazine. So we had, we were publishers. So my late husband and I started a publishing company, and it was celebrating an anniversary, the first anniversary of some of the magazines. And we went home early. We had supper. And then the next morning, about 7 a.m, I wanted to wake my late husband up, for breakfast, usual, go to work. That was when I found that he had passed on. So it was a moment of, imagine at 28 years old, right? You it's like most of you are in what, in unis, you're doing your PhD, you're doing your master's, you're still in uni. And there I was, I have a 4-year-old, a business. I woke up in the morning and the whole world has changed, right? Everything just crashed. And there was no conversation. There was nothing being told, nothing being said, no preparation. So I went into depression, of course, for a month. I had a company of, 70, 80 staff. It was, he passed on in early December. So it was lucky in the sense that it was a December month. So, not really involved in work very much. So then we went on, and I, had to put everything in order. There was no savings, there was no insurance. And then, came to the company. I said, okay, let's sit down now, talk to the accountants, what happened. And the accountants opened up the books and said, oh, you're in real red, right? And company was already going towards bankruptcy stage in that sense, because there's so much of debts. So then the year after, I looked at it and said, okay, so what do I want to do? So I asked my accountants and said, what choice do I have, right? He said, there's only two. It's either you give up and, you walk around with the debts and you have to work and pay it off, or you fight, or you fight. And at that age, if I reflect now and say, where did I get that energy? Where did I get that courage? Where did I get that positivity, right? I think it wasn't really about positivity. It was more about what I didn't want and what I wanted, right? So I looked at what I didn't want. At 28, I didn't want to be a bankrupt. At 28, I didn't want to be in depression and not knowing what I want to do, and not knowing how to bring up my child, my 4-year-old boy. So because at that point I was focusing on what I didn't want, it sort of pushed me to look at, okay, then what do you want now? Then what do you want to do? So my accountant said, then what do you want to do, Jen? Right? Yes. And I said, I want to fight. He says, okay, good. Now you know what you want, right? I said, I want to fight. how you're going to fight is a different story. The fact that you've made that decision, right? Then I said, okay, the fact that I made the decision to fight the business, tell me what I need to do. Yeah, that was when he said, all right, this is what you need to do. You need to discharge all your assets, give up everything, sell everything, do whatever you can, bring your costs down, look at your business again, restructure it, and then rebuild it. And that was exactly what I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot
So-
to chew. That's really a lot to chew.
It was. I mean, honestly, June, it was one of the toughest time in my life, right? That all I could think of at that point when after I made the decision was just charge forward. That's it. Just look forward. Just look at what I want and just work towards it. Right. I have a business to save. I have a 4-year-old to raise. Whatever that came along with it, I just sort of took it and said, okay, I have to deal with it. Right. So I wasn't hiding away from suppliers. I wasn't hiding away from government bodies. I faced it. I went forward. I faced it, and I said, okay. So people say you face the music, right? And that was exactly what I did, because I knew I had to do that in order for me to get through the entire obstacle, right, to the end. And I think within a year, I managed to sort of turn around the business, and put the business back into black from red. Yeah, and that was the time. That was the year I remember when I did that. The following year was the year that I created the HAPA Awards. Wow, and that was how the HAPA Awards came about as well. It was like a rebuild of a business. I looked at the industry and said, okay, what does the industry need right now? What's needed right now? Lack of positivity, lack of recognition. And I said, okay, therefore I'm going to create an awards, and I'm going to recognize people, I'm going to reward people, and I'm going to give people that recognition and that positive spirit, right? Yes. To say you work hard, you deserve recognition. And that was how the HAPA Awards was born. It was just born a year after that I had to rebuild the business as well. Yeah.
Wow, that's really a lot to chew. I mean, from someone who does not have a business, who did not go through a major crisis in personal life as well as business, and having to take care of a child who is 4 years old. Truly, you did embrace this one particular quote in my mind, which is experience. It's not what happened to you, but it's what you did with what happened to you. Yeah. That really resonates a lot. It's one of my favorite quotes, and that just rang in my head as you were sharing your journey.
Right. Yeah.
So that in itself. I hope that friends out there, this is just another dose of positivity for you this very morning on how Jennifer, how strong she is. I mean, the resilience that I could see. In just a year, you put things together and you found a new direction for the business. Yeah. Right.
I think it's important for people who may be in similar situation where you've got a double crisis, we call it, where you have a life crisis and you have a business crisis. It's really important to just keep your focus on where do you want to go, what do you want to achieve, right? And the minute you make that decision that, okay, this is where I want to be, this is the end goal I want, then everything that comes along with it is just going to be there, right? The storm, the lightning, the thunder, the waves, whatever it may be, right? Just embrace it, because that's going to be part of it. You face it with courage and said, okay, bring it on. Just keep bringing it on, right? And get to the end point of where you want, and not get distracted with what you don't want, or what or the things that it's going to take your time away. Just remember to keep all those things away from you, and just go on that one track and charge up. Just charge, like a bulldozer. Yeah. So, but it requires training, of course, June. I mean, it's not something where you sleep and you wake up the next morning and you say, oh, okay, I've got that boost of energy. You have to be able to train your mind and train yourself to get there. Yeah.
Well, I do see, I do feel and see, very likely it was your mindset. Have you, did you actually set, you set a goal in your mind because you have a kid?
Yes,
right?
Correct. Yeah, I remember this. In fact, now that you mentioned it, I remember. If my mom is tuning in, my mom would know. I remember when I had this conversation with my mom, and my late dad. And I said, look, this is the situation of the business. And it was lucky that my late husband and I started business together where I'm aware of what's happening, what the business is about and stuff like that. And I said, I can do this, right? And of course, as parents, they're like, but why do you want to do this alone? Why do you want to face the music? Why do you want to take on the whole burden of all the debts? And I said, look, if I don't do this, what am I going to be, right? I'm not going to walk around at the age of 28, declared a bankrupt, no money, depression, and what's going to happen to my 4-year-old? Is that what I want? I said, no, Mom, that's not what I want, right? So I have to fight. So I told them this. I remember saying this to them and said, if I don't fight, I will die, in that sense, in business and life. But if I fight, I may die, but I have a chance to live.
Yes.
And that 1% chance was good enough for me, right? Was good enough for me. And because I knew I didn't want to end up being somebody that I don't want to be. And that gave me that strong mindset to say, that's it, I'm just going to charge forward, right? I don't care what people say. I don't care what people tell me. But, as long as I know that's the end goal I want, and that was what I did, right? So I gave my whole time and energy into it. 1 solid year, I said, Jen, you got to do this. You have 1 solid year, you got to do this. And that was the spirit. Yeah, that was the spirit then. Yeah.
Yes, the spirit of knowing, focusing on what you want. That was your end in mind.
That was my
right?
end in mind.
Focus on what you want.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So just to continue on, I noticed also, let's focus on the crisis that you went through, so that we would also
Which one?
There's one more here
Right.
that I've noticed, and why I wanted to focus a little bit to allow our friends to hear the journey that you've been through, and the most important part is we wanted to hear how you overcame it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So here you've been through a first marriage, and noticed that you went through another marriage, your second marriage, and at that point in time, I remember you shared that your child was 3 months old, something.
Yeah.
If I'm
4
not-
months.
4 months.
4 months.
Oh, and that was another year, another journey where you have to journey on as a single mom. That itself is already something that is an inspiring thing, especially for me as well. I'm also a single mom. Yeah. So going through that journey, that how did you feel at that point in time? And what did you do to overcome it? We would like to hear a little bit more about what was going through at that point in your journey in life, and what you did, to overcome.
Right.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a journey that is interesting to learn from you.
Okay.
Yeah, to hear.
Right. Yeah. So 28, I lost my first husband. So at 32, I remarried, and I said, okay, so it was good to restart a new family. And I had 2 kids. So one was in the year of 2006 and then 2009. And I made a decision in 2009 after my daughter was born. Yeah. So 4 months later, made a decision to file for divorce. Yeah. Because it was a situation where I didn't want to live with how do you say? I want to put it nicely.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So basically, there was a third party. So I said, okay. I made the decision to say no. I would stay on my own with my kids, and I told my mom again. It was another shocking news to my mom. I said, Mom, I'm doing this. Yeah, and my daughter was 4. So I guess it was a time where again I asked myself, do I want to be in that position?
Yes.
Now I think it is to be fair, in any relationships or any marriages out there, whenever there is an unfortunate incident where there is infidelity involved, I think it's only fair the party that who makes that decision to want to end the marriage or not end a marriage. There's no right or wrong to whether you want to end a marriage or not due to that, right? But what's really important is ask yourself, can I live with it? If you can live with it, it's good. But you gotta have 100% trust back into the marriage.
Yep.
Yeah, because if you don't have the 100% trust back in the marriage, things are not going to work, and that's not fair to both us, to both parties, and to the kids. So for me, I made that decision to say, okay, I'll come out, I'll do on my own, I'll raise the kids on my own, and I continue with the business. Again, it was a very tough time. It was really, really tough because I had 3 kids then. My mom had to stop work because she had to come and help me, and it was a very totally unplanned situation again. Yeah, so I have again so many things to juggle, but I guess it was something where I said, okay, so what is it that I have not done before, right? I've been through all this. I can do it again. Jen, you can do it again. It's your decision. It was my decision. I made that decision. I have to be responsible for the decision and all the consequences that comes with it, right? And of course, it was an earlier part. It was a time of why me. A lot of the whys that we always ask ourselves, why me? What have I done wrong? Why has it going to be like that? And the fact that when you continuously do that and you continuously indulge in this self-pity, it's very difficult to get out, because then you start falling into depression and you start falling into, the fact that you deserve more and you don't deserve this. And then you can't seem to find yourself, you find yourself so trapped in this situation that you can't find yourself to get out of it, right? So I look at my business and I said, okay, I've got the business going. That's something good. I've got the 3 kids. That's something good. Yeah.
Yes.
So now the question is, what is the best thing I can make out of this?
Yes,
right?
correct.
And
So-
that was how I look at things and said, okay. Then it came to episode number 2,
2.
right? What do I need to put in
Yes.
order? How do I want to move forward? Focus, Jen. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you want. Just move forward. And that was exactly how, I sort of did that. And now it's been 10 years now since, I've been a single mom for 10 years. I'm very happy in with the way the kids have been growing up, have been brought up, and we're all very loving, we're all very positive. So I think it's again, something good has come out of it for sure. Everything that's happened in life, there will always be something good that comes out from it.
Wow. So all your 3 kids, your eldest, how old are they now?
My eldest now is 24, just turned 24.
Wow, 24. The youngest then was 3 months, 4
That's
months.
yes.
Now
She's now, so my eldest is 24, and my second is 14, and my third is 11. Yeah. So.
Well, I've only got 1 kid, and it's 15.
Oh, good age.
Yes.
Yeah, good age. Yeah.
Well, so from this journey that you've shared, who has been your pillar of strength? Yeah. Or who has been your pillar of strength? What has been your pillar of strength? To carry you on and bringing you on through. And why I'm asking that question is also because it's really inspiring to see how you pick yourself up over the years. In this really, really big crisis in life, the downfall, and you do have one more, which probably along the way we will get to know a bit. Is how you actually got your inspiration from. To be positive. Who helped you, or besides self, your mindset? Is there anyone out there, who has been your pillar of strength? Constantly giving you a positive hug or a shoulder to cry on, or someone that you really look up to that has given you that inspiration to keep moving forward.
In fact, June, you're the second person who's asked me what actually keeps me going. The first was someone on BFM was asking me, and I actually do a lot of self-reflection. So I reflect back. Of course, my family members are there. My mom has been really supportive. My kids are really wonderful. I have a wonderful nanny. I've got great staff. All these are all my pillars. I would say there's really not one solo pillar. I think in terms of being able to move forward, you need to have lots of pillars. Yeah, lots of support. The support system is very important. But I think the one thing that really kept me going was that somehow I always believe that there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel. I always believe, always believe, right? And I do question, I don't really question, when we're religious wise, when we get into the spiritual mode, it's like I do question God and say, okay, right, what else is there? You've gifted me with all these challenges. There must be something. There must be something you want me to do. What exactly it is, right? So I think how I actually managed to get through all this is that I totally believe in myself. I believe in my dreams. I believe that if I believe in something so passionately, things are going to happen. Things are going to work out, and there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And I was really lucky in the sense that, so I got into the mindset training because I look at the way people are, and I see there's so much negativity in the world, right? So much negativity in the world. You look at social media. You look at how even travel reviews, food reviews, right? All these you just look at how people usually speak. A lot of complaints, a lot of negativity. And I said, look, what if I can create a training to change the way, and people call it attitude, but okay, change the way you behave. And how do you change a person's behavior? You can't change someone's behavior. So that's when I said, okay, what if I worked on the mind? What if I could work on the mind? So then I picked up and I said, okay, let's learn more. Let's know more about that. And I created my own modules. And then I was really blessed to be introduced to my NLP trainer. Right? And someone said, Jen, if you want to do mindset training, you got to do NLP, right? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And I say, okay, what is NLP? And I started Googling. And even Googling, I said, I couldn't understand what the heck, NLP is, right? So this friend of mine said, okay, I'll connect you with the guy, with the trainer. You speak to him and you see, but it's something good. So I did. So I connected with my trainer, Terence Jam, if he's listening in. So he actually told me, he brought me through the whole story about NLP and, how it actually changes a person's life. And I did that. I went into that about 3 years ago. And I went into mindset training 3 years ago. And I went into NLP certification just about a year ago. And then I started learning about how our mind works, even more. And that the entire journey, that my last 20, 30 years of my journey, it was only an evolution. I evolved. I really evolved because my passion evolved. My passion changed, right? I mean, if you look at what you would like to do when you were a kid, right? I wanted to be a lawyer. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. If not a lawyer, then maybe a psychologist, right? And that was my dream when I was 8 years old, right? And then as you go, you realize that things changes. Then you start to have different dreams. You start to have different desires and different passion in life. But that is where the evolution started to take place, right? So when I started looking at my life as this is just part of my evolution. I have to go through it. All of us will have challenges in life. All of us will have ups and downs. We will not get away from that. But the point is always looking at what am I going to come out of it, right? So this is my current evolution. I'm going through a crisis right now. The beauty about it is when you overcome this crisis, you're going to become someone else. You're going to become a better version of yourself. You're going to learn things, and you're definitely going to be someone better, right? And that's where my interest comes in, and said, okay, who am I going to be after this crisis? So I'm always looking forward to who I am going to become, who I am going to be after this. So I have to get through this crisis in order for me to see that person that I will become, right?
Correct.
So I guess it's all in our mind of how we write our story, how we write the story of our life that make it interesting. And that's why we say looking through the eyes of positivity. So basically it's just putting on a pair of glasses, having the lens of positivity, and looking at everything as positive as you can, because the more you look at things positively, the more you will attract positive in your life.
Yes.
Right?
Very rightly said.
Every morning when you wake up, June, okay, so we ask ourselves when we wake up in the morning, when the alarm clock rings and we wake up, what's the first thought that comes to your head? The first thought. Is the thought, oh God, I gotta get up, I'm so tired. Or it's gonna be, oh my God, it's Monday, I gotta go to work. What is that thought, right? That first thought is the thought of whether you are in a positive state or in a negative state, right? And when you can start looking at everything in a positive way, right? Traffic jam, positive way, right? Good. I can stay in the car, I can listen to music, right? That kind of thing. Because looking at things in a positive way will affect the emotions, your own emotions, right? And when you don't feel good, nothing good's going to come out of it, right? But when you feel good, everything positive is going to come out of it.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot of linkage between what your mind thinks and what you feel, which is so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen a lot in your Facebook, your journeys, the recent journeys where what's the feeling of being certified recently, being a master coach of NLP.
Right.
I mean, now let's go on the milestones of success to celebrate. You've really gone through a lot, and I do see that your recent journey is a lot of exciting journey on, we call it, and as we are moving into this topic of hearing a little bit more about what's exciting, what's new, amidst your recent crisis last year, if I remember correctly, you shared just a year ago. One thing came into my mind is in order to become a bigger person, you need to have a bigger vision.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that just came through my mind as I'm just listening you story on about your journey into different milestones and being a mindset trainer, and focusing a lot on strengthening the mind, and being an NLP coach is another milestone.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's me seeing you, really journey on into a very much bigger vision, and having a reflection of your past life, and how you want to move on with this. And I do see that there's a lot that you definitely have in mind, right? Why you're in this.
Yeah.
So would you like to share more?
Okay. So last year was a tough year. After 40 over years, I finally went into a burnout. So I had a really, really bad burnout. Wasn't expecting it. Didn't know that was coming, and was very dark moments. But I think I was lucky because the fact that I was also in training, I was able to then apply what I train and what I teach people onto myself, right? So came this year, of course, then, another thing, and COVID came and said, oh my God, another crisis. Okay, Jan, sit down, look at what you want to do. What do you want to do, right? So came back to focusing on what I want. Of course, during the lockdown, I was so busy doing lobbying for the industry. And then after I did that, I came back to my business and I said, okay, so what's happening to your own business? What do you want to do with your business? I went into a little bit of a lost track for a while. And then I said, Jan, snap out of it. You got to get out of it. So I did. And then I sat down and said, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Right? People talk about going digital. Okay, so I get that. I said, I'm a big dinosaur in digital, but I know I have to get into digital world. Okay, I accepted it. The question now is, what exactly do you want to do in the digital world? So then I went back to my little childhood dreams, right? And so back to what June asked me just now. Where did I get the inspiration? I think that's one person that I always remember is Oprah, right? Oprah Winfrey. So when I was a teenager, I came across her talk shows, and I said, wow, this woman is so inspiring, right? She went through a tough journey, and she's out there inspiring people. And then she was doing the Oprah show. And I told myself, I said, one day, I'm going to do a show. One day, I'm going to have my own talk show. So that was like a childhood dream, right? Back in the freezer. And then I came across her magazine. She had the Oprah magazine. And I said, wow, that's also inspiring. I said, okay, one day I'm going to publish a women's magazine like Oprah. And I did. So we launched it just right after my late husband's passing. I launched the magazine, a women's magazine. And when I came to the book, an idea of saying, I wish I would write a book one day. Yeah, one day. It's always that one day. It's always the dream of wanting to do something one day. This year, I said, that's it. okay, I need to make my dreams come true. It's a digital world. Put your dreams into the digital world and make it happen. Because if if I don't take action, if I don't do anything about it, no one's going to make the dreams come true. I got to do it myself.
Yes.
So I started off with the first thing, which is a book. So I said, let's come to when do I want to do the book? When do I want to write this book? I got my daughter designed the cover for me. I said, okay, great, we'll take that cover. I'm doing a mock-up, right? And I put it out, and I put it out in a sense. I write and I predict my future. So I predict that I will do the book by next year. And then came to the talk show, and I said, okay, I'm going to start doing a lot of talk shows. So I started my own food talk show,
Yes,
which
I
is
saw that.
which is called Taste It, right? Those of you who want to talk, you want to know more about food.
Yes.
We have this series where we get few foodies together and do a live streaming talk show. Then I said, okay, so that's on the ball, right? And I look at how things are. My own son, my eldest boy, have also gone through depression and have come out of it. And I look at friends. I look at so many people around that really requires that boost of positivity.
Yes.
Now, some people can get that positivity on their own, but some people can't. And that's why I went into coaching, because I felt really passionate about coaching people through their life journey. Like, what I've been through the last 20, 30 years, if I could take all the learnings of the last 20, 30 years and inject into my coaching program, I could help someone get out of situation faster than I did. Well, I took 30 years. You don't need 30 years, right? And that was where that passion of wanting to go into coaching come in. So that was when I said, okay, I went through 8 certifications. I took 8 certifications and got myself the NLP Master Coach certification. And I'm rolling out life coaching programs, and I've, bringing really people that I can work with, that I want to work with, whether it's women, whether it's teenagers. It's something that is like my new little journey that I want to step on. Yeah, it's a new phase. But I still want to do my talk show. I still want to do my book. Yeah, those are the things that I want to make it happen. And that's why like doing this kind of shows is something really passionate that I have very close to my heart, because it's sharing what we can, using our experiences, and not being afraid to be labeled. Don't be afraid to be stigmatized. Yeah, if you're going through burnout, acknowledge it, get help. If you're going through depression, acknowledge it, get help. There is no worry about being labeled. Just because I've been through that kind of life does not mean I'm being labeled as someone who is, whatever. Yeah, the society wants to label me. So I think it's really important for people to acknowledge the current situation that you're in. And if you're not happy about the situation that you're in, you have to do something about it. Yeah. So that's sincerely important.
Wow, that itself is really really exciting to hear, especially women out there, women who are going through a lot of difficult times at home and also at work. I guess this today's show is really relevant for a lot of young women out there who is just starting to journey on their life. Young women who is going through businesses as well. We really hope that you pick up some tips here today. Miss, our topic today is looking through the eyes of positivity. Just a few points picked up is do not worry if you are being labeled on. Because secondly, most importantly, that I've picked up from the last 45 minutes is focus on what you want.
Yes.
Right? It's all in our mind.
Correct.
It's in our mind, and sometimes our heart already know, but we get confused, we get traumatized and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we need to move back into our minds and get it strengthened. And refocusing.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, one thing to move on to another interesting thing that I would like to ask you, because before our show today, was just browsing through the internet and today every one of us, we will just Google on and who we want to chit chat with, and a lot of sensationalized news out there today as well. So also, of course, I've stumbled upon one very interesting video
Oh,
Okay. in
which
the
one?
YouTube.
Okay. Right.
Well, it was actually I just browsed it and it was happened to be in the Star, and I saw that there were quite a lot of comments actually. In fact, it's like almost 1,400. It's really a lot. And I was just trying to wait until this morning to see if you could share a little bit insight on that video. The video was a little bit about something that you were sharing, the plight of our industry, right? The F&B hospitality, the F&B industry.
Yeah.
I guess you were, in the video as I was just listening through, just the gist of it is you were supporting the industry to, seek plight for, from the authority.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And there were a lot of really interesting comments there,
Yeah.
positive ones, and some were interestingly, I would say like, labeling and, they are just perception of mine.
Correct.
To me,
yeah.
I felt because I know you personally, and I was just going through it. So that's I thought I wanted, to bring this up and to ask from your perspective. Maybe you could share a little bit with everyone, looking from your lens and also from in view of the topic today, looking through the eyes of positivity, and also being in the hospitality industry, you are doing it together with the industry players and for the industry.
Correct. Yeah.
So, would you like to share a bit more? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there during MCO, I we were lobbying as I was lobbying for the F&B industry, right, and the hospitality industry. So I said, okay, let's do a video compilation and have different people, speak a few minutes about what's happening to the industry and what sort of help we needed, because most of them are all SMEs. So I did a video for the first time. I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do a video. So I did a video, and I got a couple of the F&B owners, hotel owners, to do videos as well. So we said, let's put the videos together, and we were going to send it off to relevant authorities to get our message across. But somehow I don't know how it ended up in the Star, and it was uploaded, and I didn't know. Nobody knew anything. A couple of hours later, my social media agency texted me, gave me the link, and said, Jen, why is your video up? And when I said, what video? I said, that video. So then we went in, and when we said, we were shocked and said, oh, okay, there's some publicity there. And then it went viral. It went really, really viral. But what was really interesting about, we use the word interesting, right? So we're talking about positivity.
Yes.
So what was really interesting about that video is that I was the first to appear, and I don't own a hotel, I don't own a restaurant, I don't own F&B outlets. I'm just the media supporting the industry. But because I happened to appear at the first video, the comments were very targeted towards me because I happened to be the first person in the video. And the comments was very personal, and they were really attacking me. And I guess because I'm always in a positive mode, I look at things from a very, very different perspective. As I was reading the comments, I really laughed. I just started laughing. But my friends, the people in the industry, my kids, they were all very upset. Yeah, especially my second son. He was very upset. And he wanted to take my phone and say, I want to reply them. And I said, no, you don't reply them, right? These are just comments. These are just the way people think. This is how they want to think. So they were, targeting very funny things like, saying I should sell my house, I should sell my car, and I should sell my 3 ringgit earrings, and I should move out my mansion. The best one was that I should save my nose job money that I use for my nose job so I can pay salaries. So they were really, really, to me, they were funny, right? But that's the issue. Social media is a very, very dangerous platform if you don't know how to manage your mind and manage your emotions. Why is there so many people that get affected? Why the depression from celebrities even that? Looking at the comments that's attacking you nonstop, and the more you read, the more you indulge, the more you get into a very depressing mode. So I decided not to read it. I decided after I read a couple of them, I just say, okay, fine, that was it. And you know what? Just let it be. Just let it be. Right? At least I get famous. So I look at the positive side. I got famous overnight, so it's fine. So yeah, so that was what that actually came out of it. And you know, as far as the industry is concerned, you know, it's a very, very hard hit industry. Hospitality and F&B, you know, as you know, they're really, really hard hit. It's not easy. People are going through very low period of their time. But at the end of the day, you know, what I can say is whether you are from the employee side or employer or employees or owner side, you got to look at what exactly do you want. Yeah. There is no right or wrong in your decisions, and there is no worry about, you know, anybody labeling you for whatever decisions you make. Whether you choose to continue your business or not, nobody can say what it is, right? If you choose not to continue your business because it's tough, so make that decision, right? If you want to continue the business because that's something you want to do, make that decision. Whatever decision you make, you just focus on that decision and you move forward, right? And that's how, you know, that's how I've been doing things. And you don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to make changes to the business. Don't be afraid to create new things and do new things. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Just drop it and do something else. Yeah. So creation is also an evolution, right? You continue to transform until the day that you get it right. So I call it peeling of the onions. So you just continue to peel, okay, the onions until you get to the sweet spot. And when you get to the sweet spot, you will know it. And when you know it, that's where you put all your time and energy. So don't spend your time and energy on things you don't want.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't spend your time and energy on things that will give you negative outcomes because it's not worth it. Yeah, it's not worth it. So spend your time and energy. If you're not happy right now, okay, fair enough. You're not happy. And what do you want to be? You want to be happy, right? So June says, okay, I'm not happy now, Jen, I'm stressed. Okay, good. You know, at least you know you're not happy. So you acknowledge that fact you're not happy. Then I ask you, what do you want to be? You say, I want to be happy. I said, great. You know what you want now, right? So you know what you don't want, you know what you want. And the next thing is, okay, what makes you happy? And you say, Jen, I want to do shop. I want to shop. I want to go shopping. I want to go for afternoon tea. Great. That's exactly what you should do, right? Then just pick up your handbag, take your car keys, go out there, buy yourself a nice dress, go have your afternoon tea. Then you can be happy. So that's exactly what we need to spend our time and energy. So put your time and energy in shopping, put your time and energy in the afternoon tea, right? And then you'll be happy. But if you don't do that and you put your time and energy still scrolling through your social media, looking at how lucky everyone else is, why is she so lucky? She's traveling, I'm not traveling. She's rich, I'm not rich. She's pretty, I'm not pretty. Then you spend all your time and energy looking at other people's good points, which then put you in a very bad spot, right? Then you become the bad one. You become the not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm terrible. I'm not worth it. And then you spend all your time and energy in that area. Then you can't complain that you have nothing good that comes up in your life because you're not investing your time and energy in something good, right? Yeah. So it's all a matter of your mindset and all a matter of you just need to train your mind. You just need to keep training your mind to look for the good things. Yeah, just keep looking for good things.
Yeah. So from this experience, social media, there's a good and there's bad.
There is,
right? A mix of what you were trying to do together with the rest of the industry players. Of course, amidst COVID, it's really a difficult time.
It is.
Yeah, as for me, from the hotel side, focusing on the hotel industry as well, it's really it's really a bad, difficult year, and it's really good effort that you did there. When I was reading through that.
Right.
So we are towards almost the end of the show, and Jen, what are the top 3 things that you want to share with the rest? Amidst of what we have gone through this very morning, the top 3 things that you would like to recap for everyone.
Okay, right. I think the first is this logic that I always had, right? A coin has 2 sides, right? We all know that. There's heads and there's tail. And I always believe that one side is negative, one side is positive. And if you happen to be stepping on the negative side of the coin and you don't like it, you don't want to stay there, then you just need to learn how to flip the coin. When you flip the coin, you will go to the other side, which is, the positive side. And that is where you should spend all your time and energy. The two things in life that's really important is these two. Time and energy is something that when you give out, you can't take it back. So put that two things into the area that you want. The second thing is, I call it edit your story, right? We all can't edit our past because our past has happened. So there's nothing you can do about it. What you can do is to predict a future that you want. So if you don't like the future that you're seeing, then you need to edit it, right? Edit it like how you would edit a storybook. What kind of storybook do you want to read about yourself? That is where you need to write. So you need to do a lot of journaling of your future that you want. And the more you journal, the more it becomes true. The more you see it, the more you feel it, the more connected you are with it. Right? And the third thing is always my favorite. You just focus on what you want. That's
my favorite too.
Yeah, like we as parents, like we always what do we tell our kids? We tell our kids, don't jump, don't scream, don't be late, right? We're always telling our kids to focus on what we don't want them to focus on. So it comes to a point where now, I ask myself, I don't want my kids to scream. Then what I want them to do? I want them to be quiet, right? If I don't want them to jump, what do I want them to do? I want them to sit. So then I just say, can you please sit down? Can you please be quiet? So same thing we tell ourselves, what exactly do we want, all right? If you say, look, I'm so stressed, I'm stressed out, I'm sad, I'm angry. But the question is that what you want? You say, no, I don't want that. I don't like it. I don't like to be in this position. Good. Then what exactly do you want? Right? I want to be stress-free. I want to have financial freedom. I want to be happy. I want to be successful, right? Good. That is what you want. Then focus on what you want. Don't worry about what you don't want because that's not going to be part of your life anyway, right? So just keep focusing on what you want until you get there, right? And I think that was what worked for me in my last, 20, 30 years. And I'm still doing it. I'm still learning. I'm still practicing. I'm still training my mind. And that doesn't stop, right? Yeah. So that's what would be.
Thank you so much for sharing this, summarizing it perfectly nicely. And what came to my mind was the summarizing of all three and also your journey. It resonates with this 6 C's of life that I would like to share with everyone that summarizes what you've gone through as well. It's also my personal favorite quote. The 6 C's is not cash, car, credit card, the pursuit of all these condos, but it is choice, the choices that we make in life, chances that you've taken, and the change that you have embraced, and the courage and confidence that you have embraced in you and open up, and also the mindset which is you can do it. So in summarizing it is, you have the choice to take the chance or your life will never change. And we've seen that in your journey, and open up your courage and confidence and tell yourself constantly that you can do it. And achieve your dreams by focusing on what you want.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's so beautiful sharing today, Jennifer.
Thank you.
And
thank you for having
so much.
me.
Yes, and thank you so much everyone for joining both of us this morning. And before we end, of course, just a little bit of wee time of advertisement. So Malaysian Positive Psychology is actually a non-profit organization that a few of us, a team of us, have actually set up just recently during COVID.
Okay, good.
And also a lot during the conversation just now that we've heard is depression word came out quite a few
times.
And during this very difficult time, we know that a lot of us out there, you are not alone. Depression is something that sometimes you don't realize it. So hence why we have formed this Malaysian Positive Psychology Association, really to bring together a lot of like-minded persons just like Jennifer, and many more out there to come together and to provide more positivities into the community. That's one of the main primary focus. So just stay tuned on 23rd of September, which is this month, which is another 2 weeks' time. We'll be actually organizing our very first Asia Pack Asia
Wow.
Pac Positive Psychology Conference, and we are very happy to have 6 international speakers actually
Great.
from various countries, and
Mhm.
also 2 Malaysian speakers who will be in the conference to share a lot more
Mm.
perspective, yeah, and stories on how to stay positive amidst and to thrive and to be resilient during this difficult time.
Yeah.
So that's just the wee bit. Stay tuned in our Facebook, our LinkedIn to get more information, and please do sign up because it's actually there are 2 ways to sign up. One is just pay it forward, means you just pay a 50 ringgit to any non-profit organization
Okay.
of your favorite non-profit organization,
Right.
and just print screen a receipt of payment to the charity group,
Right.
and you will be able to attend this full day conference for free. All right.
Great.
And
Okay.
otherwise, another method is just join, become a member of MPPA.
So how do they join to be? How do they get
To get to the MPPA? Just you can just PM us in our Facebook, our LinkedIn, or you can just PM Jen or me. No,
Yeah.
and there will be a link. Very simple. Just sign up, register, and of course, the EXCO members we will have to approve the membership, and then you just pay a fee to be a member. And there's a lot of things that you could do by being a member.
Great.
You can also join force together, and do talks like this, or do activities to build more positive community.
Yeah. Great.
So we look forward to see all of you participating in our conference and also becoming a member together with us and to journey on with us.
Yeah.
So thanks
Alright.
again. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.
Have a great day.